You can see we are loaded in to semifinal number 2 on Bridgehead on the right side of the map. Give it up for Generic Wheat Rings Rogue!
And on the left side of Bridgehead, we're looking at the main base of our Red Protoss player, the world champion of 2013. Give it up for sOs.
A true money man, if there ever was one in StarCraft 2 Rotterdam. I'm very excited to see if he busts out the money gates, but perhaps Rogue is going to go for the money hatch. We've seen this mad build before.
We've seen this build in the first few weeks that Bridgehead got introduced to the ladder map, and us Protoss players, the whiners that we are, we said impossible to stop. But then we realized, like, wait a minute, it's actually not impossible. If you just scout it, there are multiple ways.
If you just, prepare, try to figure it out, plan around the different things, there are ways to handle it. sOs, this game, looks like he wants to go with a Nexus first, a very greedy play. Kev, tell me, does this make it that much more difficult for him to defend whatever push comes from this hatchery?
It's very difficult, but I think you can still stop it if you just get your forge on time. Like, sOs is scouting around right now that he didn't find a hatchery in the back of the main base. That's kind of weird. That he doesn't see here, that's becoming very weird. Now he's gonna go to the top, because some Zerg players, they like to take the hatchery in the right top side of the map. And now sOs is like, all right, I know what's going on. You're most likely on the right side of my rocks. So now I'm very curious, is that a forge?
Okay, yes, it is a forge. He's gonna use it to block off part of that front ramp. Of course, those back rocks are where the area gets vulnerable. 2 drones are being sent out. The spawning pool is going to finish at a time where Rogue will be able to start 2 spine crawlers. Those will bash those rocks down very quickly, and with the gas that he's mining, he can follow it up with a very fast Zergling speed push.
Yep, and that is going to be the idea. Knock down these rocks and just run by with as many Zerglings as possible. Sometimes they throw in Banelings in the mix as well, because a couple Protoss players, they build a lot of cannons, and that's great, don't get me wrong. But if all cannons are next to each other, well then 3-4 Banelings can take care of it. So I'm very curious to see how sOs is going to go about defending this. He's making 1 Zealot, which I'm actually a little bit surprised by, because I don't think you need the Zealot right now. I would focus on getting cannons near my rocks. He cancelled the Nexus, by the way.
Yeah, very interesting response here we're seeing from sOs. His front wall has that small gap for the workers to move in and out of, so perhaps the Zealot is to block that off. But what does he do about the creep spread that's going to come? You know, the spine crawlers will eventually start pushing through. He'll take over the natural, spread creep everywhere. sOs needs a game plan to get rid of these forces.
I'm a little bit shocked. He's going to get a cannon, but it's going to go in his main mineral line. But the thing is, if I'm Rogue right now, I will just spread some creep, and eventually I'm going to macro up behind this. Of course, you're on 1 base, but it's very difficult for a 1-base Protoss to attack the Zerg eventually. So I do not feel that sOs can win this game on multiple bases if he doesn't clean up whatever is going on the north side of his main base right now. Unless he wants to win on 1 base, but we saw that with Lilbao against Live. It's very difficult to run across the map if you only have, a pylon, a probe, and there are speedlings running around.
Yeah, I think we talk about the madness of a matchup like this can bring. Fun to see it start off from a player like Rogue instead of sOs. Very important to note that probe, of course, being picked off means any type of counter harass not going to be an option now.
Massive pickup. That probe in the right top side, that could have been the probe that warped in a pylon, which would allow sOs to actually successfully 3 or 4 gate. The fact that he shot this down, and there we see sOs is going to try it again, because he realizes if I want to win this game on 1 base, I need to sneak a probe to the other side of the map. Otherwise, this probe is going to get picked off over and over again, and I can never actually commit to my attack.
Now we see sOs is first person. He's trying to set up that wall to help make it more difficult for those Zerglings to run by and push. He sees the spine crawlers coming, but like you said, Kev, that probe is making its way across the field.
Yep, that probe is actually the MVP right now. If I'm Rogue and I see the amount of cannons over here, he's gonna see what's happening over here in the front.
Hey,
there's only 1 Zealot.
That Zealot in the wall, very weak. There's the force field to block those lings away, but it's only a matter of time before they come back.
But if I'm sOs, right, or excuse me, if I'm a Rogue right now, I'd say let's just let it go. I have him contained on 1 base for now. I got a crazy amount of lings. Let's just make sure that I don't die, and let's just expand, because I actually have all the freedom in the world to expand.